أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Assalamu alaikum. There's something I'd like to say in regards to the work I do with health, with well-being, and with healing. And for me, as a Hakim, I consider the process of healing, that is becoming more whole, of maintaining health or gaining health or recovering health, I consider that to be, I kind of equate several things: growth, recovery, health, spiritual progress. I consider all of these kind of equivalent one to the other in some way. So that when the Prophet ﷺ said, seek knowledge from the cradle to the grave, I consider that to be a natural inclination that Allah has built into us to learn, to seek knowledge. But I also recognize that when he said that, he meant knowledge of the self, knowledge of Allah, and not just more information. So I consider the natural inclination for growth a life that's built into us, part of our natural life force, if you will. That natural inclination to learn and to change to be crucial. We cannot have growth without change. We cannot consider that we've made any advance from a spiritual point of view without change. And I don't mean change that we've added more information to the information that we have within us already. I mean changing our being, changing our character, honing, polishing, and improving who we are and what we are. And improving, I mean becoming more genuine, with more sincerity, more honesty, and of more service to people around us, to the world, to our neighbors, to our friends. So in this process of healing, I have with lots of Muslims who come to me, one of the things I've seen that I have such difficulty with, because I see it over and over and over, that is people in these countries that are not Muslim originally, people who have come to these countries, England, the US, and they've come from traditionally Muslim countries, and they bring their culture with them, and that's natural. It's a natural thing to do. But there are times when this culture, there's a confusion. There's an inability to recognize that the children that are growing up in a culture that is not traditional. That's not the culture they came from. So the confusion is, what is culture? What is Islam? What did we bring? What do we sustain? What gets in the way? What do we get out of the way? As a convert to Islam, I recognize that my culture that I came from, which is Southern California, USA, that what I want to bring to my Islam and what I want to find in my Islam is something that will purify my culture. I will take the things that were good from my culture and I will hold them, but I want to essentially move beyond my culture and become Muslim. And in that sense, it doesn't mean going back in time and instilling all those traditional models that were in place in the past, but becoming what is essentially Muslim. And so that I become Muslim in the sense that I have a character that it is closer to what the Prophet ﷺ's character was, that of generosity, that of kindness, that of having mercy as the source of our being and actions, and not being a cultural product. So what I want to say simply is that, and I know this, there's a process going on in which the things that are negative from cultures, that we find the way in which we let go of those and we embrace a kind of bare bones Islam, you can say, that enables us to be human beings and not, from any particular culture. But, there's a great deal of waking up that has to happen in that sense. There's waking up in the generation that immigrated to these countries to see that their children, if they've grown up in England, their children are English to a great degree. And the cultural things, there are a lot of negative cultural things, but there's a lot of cultural things that are not so negative, that their children have taken on and they inevitably will be living within, that have to be recognized. And I'm not saying that we become just liberal. It's not that simple. It's deeper than that. The key always is to go back to the elements and the principles of what it means to be a good Muslim parent. is one that has compassion and mercy and that listens to their children. And that's counsel I give to everyone. Listen to your children. Don't try to fix it. Don't try to tell them they're right or wrong. Just simply listen, and if you can, hear what they have to say, inshallah.